How's it going, guys? SunnyKhan, First Team Real Estate, making a video today about credit and credit repair and how to go forth with repairing your credit. I know it's a scary little topic, but it's a topic that I must touch on. And if you are interested in buying a home, purchasing a home right now, it's good to know that how to repair your credit. So let's move forward. I'm tripping over my words here because credit repair, it's scary, it's tough, and it's a lot of work. But hey, if your credit's not up to par, it's something that you have to do. So we'll jump right into it. So guys, have you recently applied for a credit card, tried to get into a new apartment, tried to get a new car, and you go and apply for the loan or the credit check, and it comes back and tells you, hey, sorry, you don't qualify. You're gonna get a letter in the mail explaining why, or you're at the dealership and say, sorry, your score is just not sufficient enough for us, and we won't be able to finance you. Or the apartment that you're trying to rent, they're saying that, hey, you need to bring someone in to either co-sign for you, or you got to give a bigger security deposit because your credit's no good. And it's a surprise, it's a shocker, right? Maybe you weren't aware of it. So, first things first, it comes in the worst time. There's never a good time to know that your credit's not doing too well. It's depreciating, right? So, the main thing to do, first step is, and I advise this for everybody, is check your credit. Always check your credit. Guys, there's a lot of services out there right now. There's websites that you can check your credit, or they'll notify you right away if there's some suspicious activity going on in your credit, or if there's a drop in your credit, or if you're late on a payment. We're human. We all make mistakes. We might forget to make a payment, or we might have it on auto pay and it doesn't go through. There's a lot of scenarios that can play out, right, for you to miss a payment. So make sure you're on top of that, and you don't let that happen, or at least you know that it's happened and you caught it quick enough that you can fix a mistake. So I'm gonna get right into it, guys. Fixing your bad credit. So if you have bad credit, pay attention. You can't fix bad credit in 30 days. So it's not an overnight thing. It sucks because it can take. And sorry, I use the word sucks like it's a lack of a better term, but it's inconvenient, or it's very unfortunate that you can mess up your credit right away, but it takes some time for you to fix it. I know. So that's one reason. Don't mess up your credit, right? So you can't fix your credit in 30 days. Some credit mistakes can be resolved quicker than 30 days, or quicker than a week. It all just depends on what that mistake or that issue that is hindering your credit is, right? So everything is a little different. So first things first, credit utilization. What is credit utilization? It's the amount of debt relative to your credit limits. So it's a ratio between your credit limits and how much credit debt you actually have. So the best thing to do to maintain your credit score is you got to keep that below 30%. So if you keep your credit utilization below 30%, you should be okay. If you keep it below 10%, you're in the green. That's great. Your credit's gonna be fine if you keep that up, right? But anything could happen. You can spend more on the holidays, or you can go on vacation and end up spending more without you even realizing. So it's good to keep an eye on that, right? To make sure you keep it at least under 30%. And if you're in your best of form, keep it under 10. So 30% or 10%. Credit utilization, right? It's very important. And that's why checking your credit is very important. And you guys are actually, if you didn't know, you're not, I don't know what to call it, but you're allowed to get a free credit check or credit score from all three bureaus once a year, but you want to check that more than once a year, right? So like I said, there's websites that you can check it on. Just Google credit check and a bunch of websites will pop up, right? So make sure you're signed up to one of those websites and you're keeping track of your credit. So how long does it take to repair my credit? It's a question that's commonly asked. So if you have accurate or negative information, whatever the information you have, it all depends. If there's some mistakes on your credit that you're not aware of, they should be able to clear it up and respond to you after you filing a dispute. They should respond within 30 to 45 days. 30 days is normal, 45 days if there's really some issue that they're looking into, right? So these are some things that will affect your credit. So if you're trying to repair your credit, these are the things that are going to affect your credit and the length that they stay on your credit, right? So late payments, 7 years from the late payment date. So it'll stay on your credit for 7 years, guys. So you got to stay on top of those payments. Foreclosures, 7 years, it stays on your credit. Collection accounts, 7 years and 180 days from the date of delinquency or original debt. Short sales, 7 years. Bankruptcies, 10 years from the filing date, 7 years from for Chapter 13 cases. Repossession is 7 years. Judgments, if the judgment hasn't been paid, it's 7 years unpaid, potentially longer. It all depends on the judgment. Tax liens is 7 years after they are paid. So once they're paid, they go on your credit for 7 years. Tax liens, you don't want to mess around with taxes, guys. Pay your taxes, file your taxes, and be honest on your taxes, okay? Charge-offs. Charge-offs is 7 years from the date of the account was charged off. However, if you have an accurate negative information on your credit reports, and you can see some big changes relatively quickly. So sometimes there's mistakes. I've had that in the past. I've known people who've had that in the past as well, and it's been taken off like that. But you got to prove that it was a mistake, that it's inaccurate information, right? So you got to follow that. The credit bureaus usually get back to you within 30 days, and you got to contact all 3 credit bureaus and make sure that they take it off, and let them know that it's a mistake. So that they don't all work together. If you contact one, you got to contact the next one and the next one. So all 3 of them you got to contact. Pinpoint your credit score killers. Sorry guys, tripping up again. So you got to pinpoint what kills your credit, what's bringing it down, what's the biggest hindrance to your credit. So make sure you look at the credit utilization. Your payment history is probably number 1, to be honest with you. So your payment history is the most important factor. Credit utilization would be number 2. The age of your credit accounts is another important factor. So that would be number 3, right? The age of your credit accounts. The mix of your credit accounts. So they have your different credit cards you have open, or the different debts you have open, and so forth. The mixture of that, how it's playing out against you. And your history for applying credit. So this is huge, guys. And a lot of people make this very common, I call it a beginner mistake, is they constantly apply for credit cards, just one after another, right? What does that do? They do a hard credit check and it dings your credit every time. So imagine you apply for 5 credit cards in the last 2 weeks, you're dinging your credit 5 times. It's dropping points, guys, so don't do that too often. You get approved for one, use that, pay it on time. Don't use all it. So if you get approved for $1,000, don't use all the $1,000 in 1 month. Use it wisely and pay it, on time. So clean up your credit report. How do you do that, right? So let's jump right into it. You can't dispute everything. You can dispute mistakes. Okay, if there's mistakes on your credit, you can dispute them, and you can work on fixing your credit. So if you made mistakes in the past, you're gonna have to deal with it. But there's ways. And if you don't want to deal with the whole process of writing letters out and disputing everything and trying to clean up your credit, there's companies you can hire that can do that. There's credit cleaning companies, credit repair companies. There's law offices that do that will dispute the credit bureaus. Sorry guys. They'll file disputes for you, and they'll handle the whole thing for a fee. Now, they can't promise you're going to have a huge jump. So if you're at 400, they're going to tell you you'll have a 700. They can't guarantee you that. It's illegal for them to do that. But they will tell you that if you pay X amount of dollars, you can do X amount of work, and it can potentially get your credit score up. Now they don't know how much right off the bat, but they keep making progress, and they'll let you know, and they'll keep you updated. So that's one way of doing it. If you want to do it yourself, more power to you. It's a little tough. it's a little tedious too. So keep that in mind. If you got the time on your hands, you got the power, and you can make that effort, go ahead and do it yourself. Save yourself some money. If not, there's companies that will do it for you. First step for you to go ahead and start repairing your credit, so that you can make that move on your own, is apply for a secured credit card. A secured credit card takes a deposit from you, and it builds your credit. So they take if the credit card's $500, you give them $500. They hold on to that. You use the credit, and if you don't make the payment, they take money out of that deposit for that payment. But you got to make the payments, and you got to check your credit and make sure the credit bureaus are attacking that, so they know, and they're recording your payment history on those secured credit cards. And with due time, that will refresh your credit, make it better. You're making good payments. You're staying on track. You have secured credit cards. Secured credit cards can go from $500 to $1,000 and so forth. It just all depends on what you get approved for and the deposit that you give. So if you guys want to know more, contact me, and I can walk you through it. I can give you some references of what credit repair companies you can go to. So if you're trying to buy a house and get approved for a loan, you got to have good credit. All right, you got to have good credit history. So let's start building that together. I can guide you guys. I can, once again, refer you to some good companies, and good lawyers if you want to use a lawyer that can repair your credit, or just start you off with the basics, right? Start disputing on your own, get some secured credit cards, and start building that credit. Once again, SunnyKhan, First Team Real Estate. I will make another video soon about more credit repair if this is beneficial to you. So let me know if it's beneficial. Contact me if you have any questions. Once again, SunnyKhan, First Team Real Estate. Contact information is going to be in the description. And let me know if this is beneficial. I am done for tonight. Take care, guys.